Oomph! Ah! Gah! Uh! Grah! Ah! Nyah! Rah! Yeah! Yeah! Ooh! Ah! 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 Ooh! Yeah! Ah! Yeah! Ah! Yeah! Yeah! Ah! 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 Oh! Gah! Yeah! Rah! Who? What the? Hey! What? What? Hey! Gah! Huh? Who's there? Hmm? I need someone found, someone in hiding, and I need a professional that I can trust will get the job done quickly and quietly. You come highly recommended from everyone around here, so let's put this newly blossoming loyalty to the test. You in? While we're on the topic, before we officially start our business relationship, I want to make a couple of things clear. First, loyalty and trust are the two cornerstones of any successful relationship. And I know what you're about to say. Not really. This ingrate is neither brains nor brawn. He's dangerous only in that he's desperate, so I guess look out if you back him into a corner. Other than that, you've got nothing to worry about. Alright, fine. You've got 60 seconds. What's your offer? The twins spoke highly of you. They're nuttier than elephant shit, but they're generally a decent gauge of character. So, what can I do for you, mate? Are you fucking kidding me? You know what? Fuck it. Fine. If it'll end this bloody conversation, then I'll do it for 5. What's a few tickets anyway? You're out of your bloody mind. I should go all the way back up to 15, but I just want this to end, so 7.5 or nothing. Excellent. What a wonderful day this is shaping up to be. Truth be told, I hate the bloody dogs anyway, so double-crossing them is an added bonus. I've got to sort out the finer details with your bosses, but you can run along and tell them Danny Suez is now an ally of the vagabonds. Should have thought of that before you tried to lowball me, you dumb son of a bitch. Tuca, Nando, Matter. I mean, why on earth would someone like me have any interest in joining your 2-bit operation, eh? Ha! Well, I doubt that very much, but you clearly know your stuff. What was it you were saying you wanted from me again? I can tell. Makes me curious what you might be packing. The twins warned me you'd be coming. What do you want? Jesus, all right, fine. We'll meet more towards you. 10. Happy? No chance. 12.5 or nothing. You're talking pig Latin, son. I don't know what you're on about. So what if I have? What's it to me? Well, that's sweet, but I'm not handing out autographs today. Now piss off. That's a lot of cash to be wandering around with. And what's stopping a person like me from using the weapons you're trying to buy to relieve you of that cash? Fine, but make it quick. What's your offer? I have been pretty limited with what I've got here. The things I could do with new equipment could change warfare forever. As much as I hate it, if you can get me what I need to make whatever I want, I'll do it for 5. Anyway, what else can I do for you? Then why the fuck? Whoa, easy there, mate. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Kid, if I was a double-decker bus, I'd be painted red and would smell like piss. But I'm not, so I don't. What do you want from me? Go on, piss off. Well, this hypothetical bloke would have to be pretty fucking stupid to ruin the good thing he had going with the dogs. So it would take a shit ton of money and a lot of other perks. How much were you thinking? Hypothetically, of course. Why is that my problem? God, I'm so sick of hearing your whining. Oh, God, are you coming on to me? Disgusting. Hear this loud and clear, mate. There will never be an us. In fact, I'm going to make sure of it right now. Thanks for the help, mate. Why do you look so surprised? What, you thought I wouldn't actually show up? You ready to start establishing trust? Listen, for this relationship to flourish, we've got to have trust. Just trust me on this one. This guy is dangerously stupid and he needs to be found. That's all you need to know right now. Oh, spare me. You didn't think I'd show. I can read it all over your face. Well, here I am. I kept my word. Listen, mate. I appreciate you convincing me to take this gig. I hated the bloody dogs, so making weapons to bury each and every one of them has given me renewed purpose in life. As a thanks, I made you this. Make sure to test it out on some dogs. Is that so? And how much would that be? I said piss off. Wanna bet? Tuka, Nando, Mada. Bloody wonderful. I've got to sort out the finer details with your bosses, but you can run along and tell them Danny Suez is now an ally of the vagabonds. All right, fine. Let's meet a little north of the middle. 12.5. No chance. 15 or nothing. No, you know what? I don't even want to waste time ridiculing you. Tuka, Nando, Mada. What a coincidence. So would I. Tuka, Nando, Mada. Now that's what I'm talking about. I think you're absolutely full of shit, but the balls on you to even come up with that. Good on you, mate. I can see why the twins like you. You're as balmy as 'em. I like working with people like that. Mavericks. Makes life interesting. So, exactly how much cash are we talking then? Afraid I can't do that, mate. Tuka, Nando, Mada. And just who the fuck are you? Even if that was true, which I'm not saying it is, but if it was, what kind of offer are we talking? Well, isn't that sweet? Maybe we can become pen pals. Look, this conversation is over. You can piss off. Oh, you know all about me, do you? Really done your research, eh? Well then, Professor, at the start of every business relationship, I tell my clients I hate one thing above all else. If you think you know me, tell me, what is that one thing? And? Wow, straight to the point. I like that. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. What's your point? Finally, I hope for your sake you brought my money. Didn't I tell you to piss off? I absolutely hate repeating myself. That's close enough. Tuka and Nando here don't speak a word of English, but they're fluent in body language, so try not to frown. That's close enough. Tuka and Nando here don't speak a word of English, but they're fluent in body language, so try not to frown. That's not how I do things. You'll learn that about me. I'm a man of my word. That's what I like to hear. The idiot's name is Leo. Not a great start to this relationship. It won't matter a ton since I'm positive that coward will be wearing a disguise, but let's see. He has a very punchable face, greasy black hair, average height. That's about it. Hell no. But if I was, it's not like I'd tell you anyway. No, at least I don't think so. Thing is, I get a lot of the supplies for my weapons from a weird bunker I found full of high-tech shit. I'm talking stuff light years ahead of tech most people have. No idea where it came from or who it belongs to, so who knows? Maybe it could belong to some secret cabal of geniuses. Either way, they're never there when I go scavenging. All right. Fine. 10 it is. Well, then it's a good thing I do. 12.5, or you can jump in a lake. Tuka, Nando, Matter. 5k. To make an enemy out of the very powerful and dangerous people I'm working with. You've got to be fucking joking me. What an insult. I don't think so, mate. Not worth it. I was thinking more like 15. Meet me there and you got a deal. Threatening a man who makes experimental weapons, eh? Well, that's got to be just about the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Tuka, Nando, Matter. Good. Piss off. Ugh, fine. Go gather your pennies and come back here ASAP. But you only get one last shot at this. Waste my time again, and you're dead. Fine. I've got to sort out the finer details with your bosses, but you can run along and tell them Danny Suez is now an ally of the vagabonds. All right, I've got to sort out the finer details with your bosses, but you can run along and tell them Danny Suez is now an ally of the vagabonds. Well, if it ain't the reason I'm here. What can I do for you? In any case, since I have double-crossed Black to join you lot, I have no choice but to be loyal to your cause. Because if you don't win, I'm a bloody corpse. However, just like I mentioned in my brilliant nautical metaphor, this life and death loyalty requires both parties to participate. Meaning I need you to help me help you. Got it? I have it from a good source that a bloke vaguely matching his description is travelling in a merchant caravan. Their last stop is always at the old Millennium Dome, so that might be the best place to start. But Danny, didn't you just double-cross a different gang to come join us? Not very loyal of you. To that I say, they didn't trust me first. Paranoid bastards never did. And if both parties aren't paddling their oar of loyalty on this relationship, we're just going in circles, aren't we? Make sense? Well, lose 'em, 'cause here I am. I may be a lot of things, but I'm not a liar. Good. The last thing I need is for another crime syndicate to think I'm some kind of liar. Dealt with that shit in the IDS. Good riddance to those paranoid lunatics. Bloody wonderful. I've got to sort out the finer details with your bosses, but you can run along and tell them Danny Suez is now an ally of the vagabonds. Look, I don't know who told you I work for the dogs, but that's just not the case. Sorry to disappoint. About bloody time. I've got to sort out the finer details with your bosses, but you can run along and tell them Danny Suez is now an ally of the vagabonds. Well, I can't help but feel like I've been robbed, but glad to be doing business with people who respect the craft, I guess. I've got to sort out the finer details with your bosses, but you can run along and tell them Danny Suez is now an ally of the vagabonds. Are you joking? You came with less than 5k? Jesus. All right, go get it. But if you waste any more of my time, you're worm food. All I'll say about that is, stay tuned. I've heard that one before. People like to talk and I let them. Builds mystique. But no, unfortunately. Maybe someday. I think I've got the personality for it. Does it look like I have a bloody robotic arm? Besides, if I did, I would have manipulated more money out of you when we were negotiating. Maybe you have done your research after all. So, what's your offer then, Professor? No, you absolute drongo. I knew you were lying. And coincidentally, that's the thing I hate the most. Liars. Tuka, Nando, Matter. Unbelievable. What do you want from me? Fine! Christ! 7.5 it is then. Deal? Are you kidding me? You're already robbing me on this deal. 10 or nothing. What about 12.5? Excellent. I've got to sort out the finer details with your bosses, but you can run along and tell them Danny Suez is now an ally of the vagabonds. I don't know what you're talking about. How adorable. Thanks for making today interesting, at least. I just don't know what you mean. Oh, wow. Somebody knows their guns. Impressive that you could glean all that while it's still holstered. Take a look. Hand 'em over. Mate, when you make weapons that'll turn a bloke's torso into a big pot of organ stew, whatever you want to be real suddenly is. You're gonna have to be more specific, mate. I'm sure you will. I don't think so. You've insulted me. Me, a man who makes killing machines for a living. Big mistake. So, here's how we'll remedy this. Give me 15k right now, and I'll join your little ragtag operation. Otherwise, we'll vaporize you where you stand, and snort lines of your ashes over cocktails. Opening up negotiations at least could buy us time. We don't need to do it alone. Like we were discussing earlier, this table has plenty of empty seats. The fifth column has enemies, people that would gladly see them fall. Oh, Black, how could you rob them of the chance to tell you themselves like that? Gods no, they were sending troopers to kill me almost immediately. Luckily, over the years, I've hired a reliable band of mercenaries to watch my back. They haven't let me down yet, excluding today. I might have been able to avoid Angel altogether, but an associate of mine thought it would be a good idea to sell one of their experiments back to them. Does the name O'Brien come to mind? He was an Angel scientist. He tipped Smythe off as soon as he bought the compound. They knew it came from me, and have been on my trail ever since, sending wave after wave of mindless drones. You ever heard of Angel? Miller showing up in person was a turn-up for the books. He must mean business. Take a seat. You're making me nervous. And thanks to the Thames folk, we're pretty much on equal footing, provisions-wise. Smythe prefers not to work with humans. At least, not real ones. Too many strings attached. They've developed the technology to create a living, breathing, and obeying human out of thin air. They're used as soldiers and lab assistants and the like. They perform far better than the average human in most tasks. The main difference between them and us is lack of creativity. Until Smythe figures out how to get around that, he still has use for people like me. Until recently, I was working for Smythe. Being a weapons dealer was just a front. These Thames folk are seriously misunderstood. A welcome addition to our alliance. It could be worth coming to some sort of temporary arrangement with Eve. It'll give us time to build strength. It was only practical. As far as I was aware, Angel and the Gentry had no ties to the vagabonds. I'd actually be able to make a difference. It was to be my final act of defiance against Smythe, before they inevitably gut me open with an ice pick. When the ceasefire was announced, I was relieved. Not only were Smythe's plans in the East done for, but it was done without bloodshed. It was only then I had the idea to form this alliance. You know, give people a chance to fight the Gentry on their own terms. Smythe made a mistake entwining his fate with the Gentry, because now London's ready to send them packing. Good work. Would be good if we had some intel. Too, eh? Fucking snakes. Angel's MO down to a T, though. It's all this smoke and mirrors with them. Oh, well, good. Was hoping for a bit more detail than that. Don't worry, few people have. They'd be bloody useless in a fight, but I'm sure the Thames folk would offer us supplies. That market of theirs is chock full of medical and logistical goods. I've already got the weapons covered, obviously. We have all the weapons and ammunition we need to fight the Tommies, but I fear we'll run out by the time we march on Westminster. Good to see you again, mate. With that sorted,
We should soon have the iron to take it to Angel.
It looks like negotiations have been cut off ahead of schedule.
The same reason I did anything. Because Smythe told me to.
You're not going to like this, either of you. But I'll give it to you straight.
We weren't helping you. The scam was to keep the war between your two gangs in a stalemate by controlling the supply of weapons to the Syndicate.
Are the vagabonds making headway?
Increase Syndicate weapon supply. Are the Syndicate getting the upper hand? Throttle their supply.
And just like that, you're both stuck in a war you can't win.
Besides, this whole alliance was my idea. I would never have thought of it if I didn't get the chance to work with our friend here too. The column give a shit about him though. They have it in for them. You know, like discrimination.
Sounds like a plan. I'll get the boys to haul them somewhere safe.
That means our forces on the east will need to do most of the pushing. The western forces just need to keep them busy. Did you manage to get anyone to talk?
You know it is.
Not if we want Eve to read it. We need to send a neutral agent, someone they won't shoot on sight and throw in a ditch. And because my mercenaries would be reluctant to interfere with such a tenuous ally, hence why they got up here without a hassle. While I've got you, you don't know anything about computers, do you?
Divide and conquer. Smythe just wasn't ready to conquer you yet.
So, why not be the one to strike the first and final blow? That's exactly the type of thing we'll be able to find once we've cracked these things open. For now, rest up. I'll let you know the plan when we're ready to go. Bloody hell, what did you do to the poor sods? You know what? I don't want to know. I don't disagree. I've never understood those who choose a knife over a pistol, but whatever works for them would work for us.
Are you sure?
Forging alliances now won't just help us defeat the Fifth Column, they could help us all the way to Westminster. They're a rotten bunch, an organisation that exists solely to manifest the sick desires of a maniac. Angel is a pyramid, with Smythe on top and everyone else at the bottom. No one at the bottom has any idea what's actually going on. Smythe uses ignorance as a weapon. I became one of Smythe's directors. My job was to oversee the production and logistics of Angel weaponry. As a director, I was supposedly as high up the chain of command as I could possibly get, yet I was still following orders from a person I never spoke to. I received orders through my terminal. I only ever heard their voice over rare telephone calls. Sometimes I got the feeling that the clones knew more than I did. There you are. You managed to sort our little problem in Newham? Let's move on then. By all means. I say we play for time. That leaves you with the casting vote, Wayfarer. As long as our alliance and the Fifth Column are after the same thing, we'll always be in conflict. Good one. We can debate the ethics later. The important fact is that I stopped. When the Wayfarer asked me to jump the Syndicate ship and start selling to the vagabonds, I knew it was my way out of Angel. All I needed was a quick cash injection from the vagabond coffers to keep my operations going, and I'd be as good as golden. I'm ashamed to admit it, but my plan was to see the war through to the bitter end. A vagabond victory. Just do what you can. We need to get into them as soon as possible. If we can get in, we'll be able to locate one of Angel's fancy toys. It looks like we could end up in a stalemate. I'll match your vote, Wayfarer, as a gesture of goodwill. I bought a new factory in Newham, 100% human operated. Probably. It's producing supplies for the Alliance. Using the twins, Max and Moritz, as a proxy, I was able to keep it under the radar for a while. But there have been a series of accidents, all pointing to Angel sabotage. It's too dangerous for me to go, so I need you to find the saboteurs and eliminate them. I don't understand half of what you just said there, mate, but it was pretty convincing. Perceptive, ain't ya? Fuck. I'll hire a courier to deliver the message to Cable Street. It should take a week or thereabouts to hear back from them. Hey, just because I betrayed you once doesn't mean I'll do it again. An all too common story these days. Angel, grabbing people off the streets like pig rats to use in their sick experiments. That was you, was it? Don't feel too bad about it. Most people don't even realise they've been tricked into doing Smythe's bidding. A noble effort. Don't feel too bad about it. If Smythe wanted those people dead, then they were as good as dead already. Good on you, mate. I wish I had the foresight and the balls to turn him down. I see. The fact you know about him at all is more than most. If you can't, no one can. Best of luck, mate. Neither have they. The fight's not going to start without you, mate. It'll take time for Black to get our forces in position. If we're going to take Westminster, we need superior firepower. This needs to be done sooner rather than later. No worries, mate. Unlikely they'll have known anything beyond their own noses anyway. Smythe keeps things locked down tight. Eager, ain't you? Don't worry, we won't start without you. I'll let you know the plan when we're ready to go. What do you think, Wayfarer? Could be the whole bloody factory for all we know. I'd be surprised if there was only one of them. They may get on everyone's nerves, but they're reliable. Stay vigilant, and try not to murder any false positives, will ya? Oh, and I was having a look at the numbers. We could really use some more medics. The clergy at St. Paul's all know a thing or two about field surgery. If you can convince them to support our alliance, that'd be ace. If you need me, I'll be in the basement. Cheers. Have you managed to get anything? Fantastic. And now that we're officially a part of the same gang, I have a favour to ask. I need someone found, and I need someone I can trust to find them. Interested? Hey, Wayfarer, get in here. Of course, anything for the vagabonds. But since I've done so much for the cause, it's time I ask the cause for something in return. Oh, spare me. Just tell me which shit-stained lowlife you sold it to, and maybe I'll let you eke out of here alive. That fucking rat Leo sold a priceless and highly volatile commodity to an absolute doorknob of a man named O'Brien. I need you to head to his flat in Millwall and take him out of commission before he ends up doing something stupid. And whatever you do, and listen close because this is important, don't touch anything O'Brien has on his person. Trust me. Just kill him and come find me. Good luck, mate. I don't think you fully appreciate how fortunate you are that I didn't go elsewhere. Imagine you and all of your friends having exclusive use of weapons that could turn a man's torso into a giant pot of organ curry in the blink of an eye. That the kind of power you might be interested in? Good. Nice work. A what? He was a monster. Fascinating. If I had known that's what the compound did, I would have warned you. Sorry about that, but nice work regardless. Shit. This is extremely important, like potentially fate of the world type stuff, so don't take your sweet time getting back here. I knew you wouldn't let me down. You've done me a huge favour today, without hesitation, and, most importantly, without guarantee of any reward. That type of loyalty is the most important thing in any successful relationship. And, as I've said to you in the past, that type of loyalty goes both ways. So, it is time for me to return the favour. Due in no small part to me, by the way. I mean, who knows how this all would have turned out had you not had a Suez heater in your holster, eh? I mean, helping to turn the tides of war. That's real loyalty. Would you say so? I appreciate you saying so. Happy to help the cause. But that loyalty goes two ways, my friend. In due time, son. Wayfarer, will you excuse us? I need to talk to my pal here inside. Won't be more than a minute or two. Wait, you don't know who I am? Wow, this is not going at all how I imagined. What about the Merchant of Death? Heard of him? That's me. The name's Danny Suez. I need a favour, and I need it done by the best. There's a person I need found. I need it done discreetly.
Trust me, this is extremely important, or I wouldn't be coming to you. I would have left sooner had that lunatic Gaunt not been in charge over here. The dogs were a bit overbearing, but the vagabonds were run by a man clearly only in it for revenge. I was stuck between the lesser of evils, as I saw it. So, once old goofy Gaunt was out of the picture, I saw my opportunity to switch sides. But that ain't important. Listen up. I need someone found, someone in hiding, and I need a professional that I can trust will get the job done quickly and quietly. You interested? Sure thing. All I know is that there's a traitor within your organisation. They're deeply entrenched and extremely high up in the vagabonds' ranks, but I wasn't able to get any names. I wish I knew more, but that's all I was able to find out from the whispers on the streets. Jesus, I was afraid of that, but glad you got it done. Nice work. Anyway, thanks a ton, mate. Don't be a stranger. Oh God, you're obviously lying. How humiliating. Well, you know who has heard of me? Thomas Black. That's right, now I've got your attention. I used to be the sole arms dealer to that madman and his pack of mangy dogs. But now I'm here, offering my services to you. I would like to be the exclusive weapons dealer to you and the vagabonds. I'm sorry, I'm not sure I heard you right. Did you say fucking O'Brien? No, Leo, that's the biggest mistake you've ever made. Hey, loyalty takes two to tango, my friend. I'll be here when you change your mind. Well, mostly in that pile of offal, but he seems to be leaking a bit. I think you have some of him on the bottom of your shoe there. Leo double-crossed me. The dumb cunt made a huge mess, now both literally and figuratively. Watch your feet there. And I had to correct him. Hold that thought, mate. Hello, Leo. Nice digs. I don't even want to know. Nice work. I have a piece of information that could potentially turn the tides of your war with the IDS. There's a traitor within your organisation. All I know is they're deeply entrenched and extremely high up in the vagabonds' ranks. I wish I knew more, but that's all I was able to find out from the whispers on the streets. Use that information wisely, mate. In the wrong hands, it's potentially as dangerous as the compound Leo sold. Oh, and by the way, that compound was rendered inert by the exposure to oxygen. I wouldn't worry too much about it infecting anyone else. Are you the one they call the Wayfarer, the leader of the vagabonds? So, have you changed your mind on our little partnership? Can you help me find this guy or what? It's important, I swear. Well, 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 look who's gone and made something of themselves. I'm sorry to do this, but I need one more thing from you. I know you've been looking for a way to deal with these shadowy people behind the scenes, seemingly pulling everyone's puppet strings. Just so happens I have a bit of a relationship with them. They let me gather supplies from their abandoned bunkers as long as I supply my weapons to the right people. I'll set up a meeting between you and them if you want. I think it's probably about time you lot met. So, are you interested? Disappointing. The name's Danny Suez. I make things that kill people. Your boss poached me away from the dogs, so I guess that makes us brothers in arms now, doesn't it? Now, I'm happy to make weapons for this organisation, but while I'm busy scratching all of your backs, who's going to scratch mine? I've heard from just about everybody around here that you're the one to ask if I need a favour. Is that correct? And what is it exactly I'm missing, then? Is it the part where you sold a weapon I explicitly told you never to sell without consulting me first? Or maybe it's the part where you stiffed me out of the exorbitant amounts of money you made off that deal. Or perhaps the misunderstanding lies in you falling off the fucking grid and hiding in this rat's nest like the fucking coward you are. Well, speak up then. Which is it? Or did I get them all straight? Because, if I'm being totally honest, I make weapons so powerful that if I wanted you and your gang dead, I could have levelled this entire block before you had your morning shit. But those types of weapons aren't for sale. I keep those locked away where they'll never see the light of day, so don't even ask about them. Anyway, what's the worst I can do? You already fucked up the IDS something awful, so it's not like I could be a double agent. I appreciate the blind confidence. It's cute, really. But I've broken my back for this organisation, and this victory is as much mine as it is yours. And now I must ask for something in return. Well, that's a foolish fucking decision. I'll be around when you change your mind. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Oi, you must be the famous wayfarer I keep hearing so much about. About damn time. You ready to finish this job? So, is it taken care of? Well, that's that then. We can make do without them. Bloody hell, mate. They almost had me. Thank heavens you came when you did. Only Camelot and the Tommies are a concern for the time being. Lucky for us, they're already at each other's throats. Like our situation with the column, one will eventually wipe out the other. Whoever remains standing is up to us. We're in a prime position to assimilate one of them into the Alliance, doubling our military capability overnight. A bit advanced for Camelot, don't you think? Tommies aren't trained in this kind of gear. Let's move on then. It's about time I was honest about my past. No more half-truths. Let's sit down. I'm knackered. All Camelot would need to do is stay in Wandsworth. The Tommies would need to withdraw their troops from anywhere where they're not wanted and stay in Lambeth. The question is, who do we proposition first? Who would best suit our alliance? Before we make up our minds, now is the time to bolster the alliance. People will be hesitant to join if we're embroiled in a conflict they didn't vote for. If dressing in leather and spikes is expressing yourself, these pistols might be overdoing it. Don't worry, Camelot haven't betrayed us. Don't worry, the Tommies haven't betrayed us. Their proximity to Westminster will make them hesitant. It could take some convincing. They do have impressive uniforms, though, you have to admit. Why not the pistols? Those punks hate the gentry like you wouldn't believe. All that repressed anger might as well be put to good use. Let's have a closer look at these bastards. That's what he wants us to think. He's trying to divide us. That's what she wants us to think. She's trying to divide us. Let's just keep him around, like a prisoner who doesn't know they can't leave. Who knew a group of people could have so much to say about motorcycles? Crikey. It's a numbers game. Whoever we side against will ultimately be wiped out. If we make our intentions known, that we intend to take a side in this war, no matter what, they should join us in self-preservation. And cold skin. Colder than any corpse. I've seen this before. The situation is promising. For us, at least. With the fifth column gone, that leaves 4 players left in the game. Don't forget what's at stake here. If we don't win, we'll face the bloody wall. All of us. We can't take risks, and siding with Camelot is a risk, even if it's a marginal one. Seeing as I represent a stockpile of weapons and not a group of people, I'll abstain. In that case, it'll have to be the Tommies. Give General Asquith the same ultimatum. First of all, the Tommies, the keepers of the peace, meaning their purpose is to protect whoever's in charge. Second, there's Camelot, knights in shining armour, gearing up to save a maiden who doesn't want saving. Third, us, the wild card, the combined forces of everyone in this room. Fourth, well, it's not the gentry. Without the Tommies, they'd be high and dry. Let's just say I'm aware of a 4th element that'll come into play. Nice guns. Plasma. We have all the weapons and ammunition we need to fight Camelot, but I fear we'll run out by the time we march on Westminster. We never decided if antagonising the Tommies is the best course of action. That was reckless. Documents on the terminals we recovered outline how the suits work. Once my men are in the know, they'll pick up the suits and take them to Westminster Bridge. From there, it's the final stretch. Who wants a one-size-fits-all nation anyway? You can't make everyone happy.
Black said you're the best fighter he's ever seen in action. If that isn't total bullshit, it'll have to be you. Good luck. There's a base beneath this building. I need you to go down there and locate the suits. Make sure to deal with any trouble that stands in your way. You realise now, with Camelot out of the way, we're two of the most powerful people in the city. You realise now, with the Tommies out of the way, we're two of the most powerful people in the city. I'll crack on with this. And good job securing aid from St. Paul's. Even if they won't take a seat at our table, their medics will save countless lives. Agreed. Our best bet is to pull them out of Westminster, now. You better get down there. We're fighting on their turf now. They won't give it up easily. Our boys in the metal suits will be the vanguard. Everyone else will sweep in behind and capture key positions. The gate will be our biggest hurdle. Any ideas? It was a nightmare, but we finally got into those terminals. Who knew those things were so complex? I almost smashed them to bloody bits in rage. Alas, here we are. The United States Embassy. Angel took great interest in this place. There's something here they were very interested in. I believed it to be a weapon. I guess it is one of sorts, if you believe a good offense is a good defense. It's a suit of armour that renders the wearer almost completely invulnerable to attack. A bit of kit like that would give us a major advantage in Westminster. There you are. This place has given me the creeps. Our forces will need to cross Westminster Bridge and somehow make it through the gate. Admiralty Arch is too well defended from the exterior. We managed to break in, but the victory was short-lived. They pushed us out. Just make sure you get any preparations out of the way before taking the helmet. There's no going back after that. It certainly is. One man in that armour is worth 100 without it. They plan to produce more, but they're too late. As far as I know, the ones in here are the only ones in London. They require training to operate. I've got 4 of my best men cracking the books as we speak. 4. And as far as I know, they're the only ones in London. We don't have time to produce more for the battle. Good, but don't take it lightly. A lot of people put their faith in us to see this through to victory. Everyone's interested in power. We just have no interest in abusing it. As it should be. Who wants to live in an ivory tower anyway? We've got more resources, more manpower, and most important of all, a foothold to strike Westminster.